Hello friends, I'm Stephen Middleton, and I'm coming to you from my home in Lake Wylie, South Carolina. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel, and if you have not already done so, please subscribe to my channel and also hit the subscription bell so that you'll be able to get notifications whenever I post a new video. Today I want to continue our series about creating a vision for your life and for your business. I think spending time with your vision is critical. It's not unusual to spend a year just thinking about your vision, doodling about your vision, journaling about your vision, because it's your vision that's going to lift you from where you are to where you want to go. And today I want to focus on one theme, and that is to be the person you want to become in your vision now. To be the one you see yourself as becoming now. That is, don't delay. Don't say, when I become successful or when my business hits $1 million mark, then I'll be such and such. I am inviting you to be that person now. So therefore, you can have the benefits of your vision now. There's no reason to delay enjoying living out your vision now. And you can start in this very moment, because as you begin to do this, it's your vision that will lift you into the person you do envision yourself to be. Now, I'm a student of history, and I've said this before, and there's an excellent example that comes to mind. You may remember the name Frederick Douglass from your history classes or social studies classes in school. As you may recall, Douglass was born in 1817 in the state of slavery. My gosh, horrendous conditions we could only imagine today. But before he was 10 years old, he was sent to be a playmate to a slave owner that lived in Baltimore. And the slave owner's wife decided that she would allow Douglass to sit in as she taught her son how to read and write. And Douglass began to take to, learning the alphabets. He began to excel as a young pupil in school. And the woman's husband came home one day and noticed that she was teaching this child to read and write just as she was teaching her own son. And the man told his wife, if you teach a slave to read, you will ruin the slave. And young Douglass, a mere child, said that at that moment, he knew what his roadmap to freedom would be. That he would bend every effort to become a literate person, to learn to read and to write. And he succeeded before he became a mid-teenager. And his ability to read and his ability to write, even though he tried to conceal it from the people around him, began to show itself in his demeanor. They could see it on his face. They could see it in the way that he walked. They could observe it in the way that he communicated with them. They knew that this man was not the typical person who had been conditioned to accept slavery. The slave owner then decided that this guy was rebellious. This is how they interpreted his posture, his demeanor, that he is a recalcitrant, a rebellious slave. And they sent him off to a renowned slave breaker, a man who had experience in making enslaved people conform to this awful institution. And this man beat Douglass. He worked Douglass hard. He deprived him of food. He really tried to get into Douglass's head so that he would conform to slavery. And at one point, Douglass did confess that the man had been so hard on him that he became a slave in body and mind. And then one day, as the slave breaker continued his training in how to be a good slave, Douglass said that it was as if a switch had flipped in his mind. And when the slaveholder proceeded to try to whip him, Douglass said that he resisted, he fought back, and he prevailed. Now, I want you to be aware of something. Douglass risked being shot. The slaveholder could have gone into his house, gotten his gun, and shot him on the spot, and no one would have complained about it. Douglass could have been reported to the state, to officials, and they could have had him executed to make an example of it. But for whatever reason, whatever fate had in store for him, it did not allow the slave breaker to report Douglass to the authorities. Perhaps the slave breaker had his reputation to keep. He didn't want anyone to know that this teenager had gotten the best of him. He would have lost income and opportunity to try to train other people on how to become a slave. Then Douglass tells us in his autobiography, he was transformed. It was as if he had a spiritual experience. And although he was only about 15 or 16 years of age, he said he knew that he was already free. He was free mentally. He was free spiritually. And it was only a matter of time that he would become free physically. Viktor Frankl, who spent time in the Nazi concentration camps, told us the same thing in his autobiography, Man's Search for Meaning. Frankl wrote that everything can be taken away from a man. And of course, he meant man generically. Use the pronoun that fits your sex. But he said there was one thing that could not be taken away, and that is a man's ability to choose in any moment. You can choose to be free, or you can choose to be oppressed, and you can do it all in your mind. So I say to you, I don't know what your dream is. I don't know what your vision is for your life. I don't know what your vision is for your business. But I say, be it now, as Frankl and Frederick Douglass said to us. Now you may ask, well, Stephen, well, what about you? Well, as I said in another video, I am 65 years of age. It's June of 2019. I have been a full-time employee on somebody's job for over 40 years. I have been through many schools. I've been in school, in fact, for the first, more than 25 years of my life. I've done all of that, and I also live with a physical disability. I don't think too many people would say that because of my age and because of how long I've been an employee and because of my circumstances, that to just take it easy, take a break, find a rocker somewhere and wait for life to come. That's not what I'm choosing for my life. I'm choosing my vision, as I've said in another video, is to talk about it's possible for a person to be who he wants to be. It's possible for a person to do what he wants to do. It is possible for a person to have what he wants to have. That's what I'm devoting my life to. This is the vision that I have for my life. So what am I doing to fulfill it? I'm doing it now. I will speak anywhere I'm invited to speak. I will teach anywhere I'm invited to teach. I enjoy showing up on YouTube, having these conversations with you, and I have one single message. Be it now. Do it now. Have it now. Well, next time, there's one other thing I want to do about visions, and then we'll proceed to goals. Thank you for joining me today. If you haven't done so, please hit the subscription button on your YouTube page, and also hit the subscription bell so that you'll be notified when I post a new video. Thanks for joining me and have a great day.